Hi, everybody. Welcome to the December Supper Clubs. We're glad you're getting together. We are looking the whole series that we're doing this year is around faith in the 21st century, looking at the possibilities and the challenges of a changing world and how our faith interacts with that. So we've looked at, in October, we talked about, or we showed a video. We're also showing videos this season, which seems to be going pretty well. And Greta Thunberg looking at climate change. And then in November, we looked at good conversations and the challenges of how you have good conversations. So
and we've heard good things about both of those TED Talks. This month, we are talking about, we're going to show a video by Dr. Robert Waldinger, and he is the fourth director of one of the longest studies done on 724 men back from 1938. For 75 years, they've done a study following these men, trying to conclude what makes someone happy and healthy, a true happiness and health. And so they've identified something that really is the common denominator for health and happiness among these men.
And it's not getting rich, and it's not having a successful career. It's relationships and having good, strong social connections, knowing that there's people in your life that are going to be there for you, feeling connected to other people in the world. And it's so fascinating because they've done this over 75 years.
And so, all sorts of different men, in all sorts of walks of life and socioeconomic levels. And the same thing, those who had strong, solid, authentic social connections, relationships with families, friends, and communities showed greater health and happiness.
So maybe pause and watch the video if you haven't seen it, and then come back because we're going to talk here a few minutes about our thoughts on this. A lot of this goes back to, probably further than this, but I remember Robert Putnam's book,
Bowling Alone.
Bowling Alone. And back in 2000, we were already starting to see that we're joining fewer organizations. Suburban life is separating us. We just go into our garage. And the isolation and the cost of that isolation, our mental health. And I think in the video he says 1 in 5 folks now at any one time, Americans would say that they're lonely. And so we certainly see as pastors that the church can play a pretty important role.
Has a role in the community and in individuals' lives at providing an opportunity to build social connections, to build lifelong relationships, to help people go through difficult times. It's an amazing opportunity.
And it's often what church can provide. One is instant community if you're moving to a new city and in a more mobile world. Folks with maybe shared values, or some we're hoping that you're finding a church that's a good fit, so they have shared values, but they've got different life experiences. They're of different age. People, so you're not in these little silos that so much of our world is. We're inviting us out of those, as you say. You're sitting in the pew with someone, and you don't get to decide whether you like them already
or agree with everything that they think. And a church community or a religious community encourages conversations about meaningful conversations, opportunities to be vulnerable, to make connections around things that matter to people.
And we talk about being there for each other, which is one of the study's results, was that's important to know that there's people. So that value of being in a church and being there for, the least of these and those across the pew that you don't agree with, that's in many ways is countercultural. And we're, I think we have a particular niche as the church in maintaining and holding that. And so it's interesting to see that confirmed, how important that is.
So one of the challenges, however, with making relationships and knowing that having social connection and solid friendships is key to health and happiness, it's not easy. And we can say that, and yet it takes time and energy and risk and vulnerability. So we acknowledge that, and he acknowledges that in the video.
That's right. So we just thought it'd be interesting if you talked. You're a supper club. You're already you're doing
putting yourself out there for this.
So one question for you as you think tonight is just about your own life. Where are the most meaningful relationships? What makes them meaningful for you?
That's good. And in what ways has technology affected your relationships, impacted them, both positive or negative? We do make connections through social media and other opportunities for that. And they can be very isolating, or they don't replace human contact and vulnerability.
That's right. And then maybe just talk about Montview itself. So the ways in which Montview has fostered those relationships for you, or challenges to that, if you've experienced that too. Because of course we're not perfect, and not a perfect community,
Right.
and relationships are hard and messy and risky.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And I guess the last question was, what might be the challenges to growing relationships at the church? And yeah,
so
let us
all right.
know how it goes.